loves. Welcome or welcome back to Chemistry with Kismet Tarot. I'm Monica, the Kismet Chemist. If you are new to my channel, welcome. Welcome to the family. It's an honor to have you. If you are returning, welcome back. I have missed you. So my loves, we are actually going directly into these messages today. We are going to be talking about this harvest season of 2025 coming up and tapping in using the Seasons of the Witch LAMMAS Oracle. It's also pronounced, I believe it's Lunisad. I could be butchering that. I likely am. I've looked up the pronunciation a few times, and it always seems to kind of fall out of my head. But this is a Sabbath that falls on August 1st, which is the day that this premieres. And it marks the time of harvest, the very beginning of harvest. So we have moved through the beginning of the calendar year, the beginning of the zodiacal year. We are now in, we are in the not quite middle, but in that Lionsgate time frame that opens July 26th and closes on August 12th. And during this time, we have the Egyptian New Year, but we also have LAMMAS. And it is the time in which we have planted our seeds and tended to them. We have weeded the garden, we have watered, we have loved and nurtured and grown our full crop for the year. And this is the time where we celebrate all of the work that we have done, but we also recognize that we are on the cusp of even more work. This is where we get our hands dirty, where we get down into the soil and we get all of what we have spent so much time working on out of the ground into our lives. All of the abundant blessings we gather within ourselves and in our lives, preparing us for the winter season, preparing us for the time when the sun spends less time in the sky and the moon has dominion, where darkness rules above and beyond light, where the fields rest and rejuvenate themselves through the slumber of winter or Yule season. That is what we begin here today, together, collectively, along with the cycles of the world of our lives from ancient times to modern day. So with that, we have 3 piles, and we are going to be looking into what your abundance and your blessings are that you're being called to the fields to harvest. Pile 1, we have the card Sunflower with the number 38, and we have the runes Romance as well as Sun. Pile 2, we have the card Country Fair, number 13, along with the rune Harvest. And pile 3, we have the card Roosters and Hens, card number 35, and we have Flight and Scythe runes. I will give you guys about 60 seconds, get some meditation music going for you. Tap in, ask your higher selves, your guides, and your inner heart and soul and your intuition to guide you to the pile that is correct for you. If you don't want to take that time, the timestamps will be in the description box below. And I will see you all at your piles. Hello, pile one. If you chose the first card and runes, the card Sunflower and the runes Romance and Sun, this is your message about LAMMAS, blessings, and abundance. So we're going to start with the card and rune stones. The Sunflower card says, follow your bliss and watch as the things that are meant for you come home to you. And with this energy, the first thing that really started to come through for me was this idea of romance. And romance is being more than just, man loves man or man loves woman or woman loves woman or what have you. It's more than just the dynamics of a romantic relationship. Sometimes we lose our way in life. We lose that connectivity to life itself, to the world, to our place in the world. And I'm no stranger to that. I understand that. And your guides are saying there's been this long journey for you to redefine what romance really means, to redefine what romance means to you in your life, what it means to find life as a romantic endeavor, a romantic engagement, for you to feel as though the world is wooing you into experiencing more and more of life. The sun in and of itself, in the witch runes, in the major arcana, even just in the sky, the sun is this ball of heat and light, and it gives us life. So this is more so your guides want you to focus much more on this. How has life brought more romance to you? How has life romanced you? How has the world romanced you? How has the universe romanced you into this beautiful connectivity with yourself, with your path, with your purpose, with the way that this world is right now and how hard it is to see the beauty in it? How has it all come to you now? And when we think about sunflowers, we think how tall they are, how regal they are, and they follow that light, that joy. And sometimes we can get stuck in the darkness, stuck on that dark night of the soul, or on some healing journey where we feel like we'll never break out. But those are the times where we don't realize that we are the sunflower, because we're in the dark and we're seeking the sun, and the sun that feeds us and fuels us. This is about you recognizing that you have this huge role in this life, even if it seems small. There is no small part of your life in this world, no small part of your soul that chose to exist right here and right now. And with the messages, we'll go over what each of the placements means for the tarot. But with yours, I was called to look at the shadow energy, which is the back of the deck. And we have the Six of Wands here. Oh, this is weird, guys. Look at this. There's just like a section flipped upside down in the middle of the cards. Oh, yeah. Starts with the Tower and ends with the Knight of Swords. Interesting. We're not going to get into that. If that meant something to someone, it was intended for you to see. Don't try to make it fit if it doesn't, though, please. But with the shadow energy being the Six of Wands, this is about where your belief system lies in you being successful on your journey. And it could be a journey of creativity. It could be a journey of healing. It could be a journey of finding romance, finding connection, finding your place in this world. Belonging has been such a strong theme lately. Where do we belong in this world? Do people belong together or separated? And everybody has their own idea. They have their own opinions. You're wondering whether you belong in the spotlight, in the limelight I'm getting. Where do you belong? Where is home for you? And that's an interesting thing that actually brings me to, as I was setting your cards up, I kept hearing the song from The Wizard of Oz. If ever a whiz there was, The Wizard of Oz is one because. And then I got an image of the ruby slippers, and I heard that your feet will guide you home. And now I'm picking up like Frodo energy, where something that Bilbo used to say to Frodo is, if you don't keep your feet, there's no knowing where they might take you. And it's about being mindful of the steps that we take through life, but also being aware that life is an adventure. It's intended to be an adventure, and this is an adventure that is calling to you. This time of harvest for you is calling to you to live more fully, more authentically, more unapologetically. All right. So this first card is about the fields that you have been tending to over the past, I just heard 6 months to a year. And then this is about the guidance for harvesting those fields. These are the blessings that you will be reaping. And then we have some gratitude from your guides. They wanted to come through. And then these are just additional messages and guidance. So let's take a look. We're going to dive into this fields that you have been tending for the last 6 months to a year. Okay. Beautiful. We have the Queen of Cups. And this is absolutely incredible. I love it because with this is the fields you've been tending are not anything external to you. It's you tending to your own emotions, your own heart, your own psychic and empathic gifts. It's you tending to this understanding of how ebb and flow actually works, not just in the world, but in your own life. And I'm getting a lot of energy about the moon cycle. So you may find or may have found over the past 6 months to a year that the moon cycles impact you differently. And an example I'm being shown is I used to be really like oppositional between the new moon and the full moon. So with the full moon, I'd feel really tired and feel like I needed to go into this restful state. And with the new moon, I'd be just like the Energizer bunny. But over the past few months, for me, it's flip-flopped back into that traditional standard or traditional setting of the new moon with its darkness in the night sky really has me on a calm, low level, a reflective energy, whereas the illumination of the full moon has me just wired, don't sleep, like I'm ready to go, I'm ready for life kind of thing. So the moon cycles, it doesn't necessarily have to be in those ways. It could just be that you notice that you are more conscious and aware of certain triggers, certain emotional processes that you have during certain moon cycles. And that's something that I almost get like this, the fields that you've been tending is understanding how your own cycles flow similar to the cycles of the moon. So the moon goes through the same cycle every 29.5 days or so. And it goes through that entire phase from new moon to new moon-ish. We'll say ish. And in that, it experiences the entirety of the zodiac. But in reality, the moon is always with the earth, which is always opposite the sun. So it's this experience of duality of what appears to be one thing, but is experienced differently. And that field that you've been tending is that recognition that your intuition, your psychic gifts, who you are, your heart, your soul, it knows more than what the eyes can perceive, than what the ears can hear, what the fingers can touch and the tongue can taste. It's an experience of existence that goes above and beyond the physicality of this life, but it also includes the physicality of this life. So it's very dynamic in nature. And that is not something that is an easy field to tend to. It's not an easy field to keep alive because in this world that we live in, there are so many things that pull us in so many different directions. And so as we get pulled in all these different directions, it's very hard for us to understand how we fit within it. And that comes right back to this field that is being tended is because you're being romanced by life again. Romanced by the experience of life, the expression of it through your physical being. So let's take a look at your harvest guidance. I love this. So we have the Five of Pentacles. Okay, now normally the Five of Pentacles is, I guess it's a card that we kind of want to avoid. There can be this fear when we're in this high place, this rejuvenated, energetic place. There can be this fear that goes along with it of what if I walk forward and I find myself in a state of lack? What if come winter time, like it's depicted in the Five of Pentacles, I don't have enough and I am cast out into the cold? What if I go through all of this and find this joy and success and it just runs out, it falls away? Your guides want you to remember that as we harvest, we store for those times of darkness, those times of being separated from the community or from the warmth of the sun. As the cold sets in, we can forget that we have ever even experienced the joy of that sun pulsing upon us with that warmth, just waves and waves of warmth and light and love and life. And there's also a bit of a cautionary thing here that I'm picking up of it's important to remember that as we gain in success, it doesn't change where we came from, what we went through. It can be easy to fall into the throes of, or rather the allure of success and allow it to structure who we are. But humility is very important on this journey as well. It's understanding that we are where we are because we have had to overcome what we did. We've had to overcome states of lack, states of missing, of being cast out and cast away. We've had to overcome these times where we couldn't provide for ourselves and needed help from others. We've had to overcome those. And once we do overcome them, it's important for us to remember where we came from because there are so many more people out there that are still struggling. And we are the beacons for them when we come out of that state. So as you harvest your fields, this emotional field of feeling alive again, of feeling successful in life, and that depends on what you define it as. But when you realize that you're at home within yourself and within this world and within your life, and as you harvest that, it's about bringing that forth into the world in the dead of night, in the cold of winter, when everything is shrouded in silence and people have forgotten what it's like to feel that warmth. You will remember, and therefore you have the ability to bring forth abundance despite the appearance of lack. That's really cool, pile one. All right, let's find out about what blessings you'll be reaping. Aha. We have the Judgment card, number 20. This also correlates to Pluto, and Pluto is currently moving through the sign of Aquarius. And this is the Judgment card usually is angels over top of coffins where man, woman, and child are rising up out of the coffin for Judgment Day. It's very rapturous in nature. But in this one, it's about heeding that song of your soul. So the blessing that you have is recognizing what is right for you and right for your life and following that, following the the notes and the music and the beauty of your life and the experience of your life. It's about recognizing that as you go through this, you're really following exactly how you're meant to. And as you do that, the song that comes off from your energy. So your energy field is like this vibrational field. And as it vibrates, it moves in waveforms very similar to music. And that music attracts others to you, just like the cat and the butterfly. It's being attracted to you to dance in harmony together. If you guys can hear my dogs barking, I apologize. They're outside and they have been playing, but somebody just walked by with another dog and they get kind of riled up. But the blessings that you're reaping are this call to your purpose, call to your path. And it's you walking on that path while you also are calling in community and blessings and family and joy and success and abundance. It's this like totality of the Six of Wands that you desire, but maybe don't necessarily have the full faith in yourself to bring about. And there's no judgment being made upon you in the sense of maybe you are doubting, maybe you are hesitant. I don't know that. You are the only one who knows that. So the question is, if you are feeling that hesitancy, that doubtfulness, what is it that you're being called to? What would happen if you said yes to life? Yes to the universe. Yes to that song you feel inside of you wanting to come out, wanting to be expressed and experienced and heard and loved. My husband often says, when my kids or I want to do something or try something or ask somebody about something, and our hearts are set on a specific answer, a yes answer, he often says, what's the worst that can happen? They say no. Oh, excuse me. And that's the thing. What if the worst that could happen is that you say no? That means that you have the power to not have the worst happen. You have the power to make the best happen by saying yes, by engaging in life. So as this harvest season opens, as you're called forth from all of the lessons and the wisdom that you've gained from yourself, as you remember all the times that you felt cast out and in a state of lack, and now you're experiencing this call to the soul, call to the purpose, your success is guaranteed if you choose to say yes to it. Let's find out what your guides are grateful for you on. I love this. We have the Knight of Pentacles. Your guides want you to know that there was never a single moment, never a single experience, never a single pain, wound, stumble, crumble, fall down, broken heart moment of your life. There has never been one where you have been alone, where they haven't been proud of you for scraping by, for getting yourself back up, for keeping going, for being dedicated to this long journey. Not everybody has that. And it can be very hard to be a person who understands I'm in this for the long haul. It's going to take me time. It's going to require a lot of dedication. And I know it's going to be slow progress, but I am dedicated to this because I believe 100% in this calling of my soul. And your guides want you to know that they are so grateful that you have really, I heard buckled down and hunkered down at the same time. So it's kind of like you've really just entrenched yourself in this dedicated path in your life, whatever that looks like for you. It's going to be different for each and every one of us. But they want you to know they're grateful that you understand that things don't always go super quick. It's not always like you put something out and all of a sudden you go viral and everything blows up and your life is so great. Sometimes you go viral and everything goes wrong. I mean, I don't think I'm the only person who's watched the Coldplay video. Sometimes we don't blow up at a time like that because we're not ready or prepared for it. Sometimes there is more value in the journey where we feel that lack, we feel that cast away, that cast out feeling. There is more benefit, more blessings in that journey that teach us how to move through the heart, live through the heart, to dance from the soul, to vibrate from the very soul, and to be very dedicated to going the distance and being in it for the long haul. And your guides want you to know that it hasn't gone unnoticed. They see the struggles. They see the hardships. They see the times where you have doubted whether you will be able to get back up and keep going. And then you have just done it anyway. And it hasn't been in vain. And it hasn't been unseen. And it hasn't been unacknowledged. They are so grateful that you are still here, that you are still going, that you are still moving forward. And they want you to know that today, that as you step forward into this harvest season, they are so grateful because you did tend to those fields with love and honor, integrity. You tended to the fields, and now you are moving into this glorious time. Wow. Okay, let's get the final messages here. We have truth. When everything is done as an offering, even the act of speaking, to get shown when to talk and when to be silent. Your words come from silence, not fear. You do the talking, dear Lord. Take me over and speak through me. The path of truth is the path of utter resistance. Least resistance is lies, because it's very easy to be like, everything's fine, whatever, or to say the things that you feel others want you to say or need you to say in order for there to be this box that you fit in or they fit in, or you say these things that you don't believe in, but you know that, people enjoy it. It's like being an influencer who doesn't really believe in what they are trying to influence people to buy. They're just doing it for the money. It's all a lie. But when you live the path of truth, the path of honesty, the path of integrity, that is to offer one's own life and soul up to the divine and to say, I am here to speak truth. I'm here for your truth to speak through me. That is why success is guaranteed. That is why they're so grateful that you have dedicated yourself to continuing to move forward in this way. And it doesn't mean that the hardships are not acknowledged. I keep getting that. Like, we want you to know we see it. We see the struggle. We know how hard this is. We understand. Pile one, there was a point in my journey. There have been multiple points in my journey where I have hit a wall and I have been like, you don't understand when I'm talking to my guides. You don't understand because you're not in this. You're not ingrained in this heaviness that is the existence of humanity right now. You don't understand because you're not in it. You can see higher and you can see more than I can. So it makes it a lot harder for me to navigate through this. And so you don't see it, you don't get it, but they do. They do. They wouldn't be guides if they didn't understand. And because of that, because you've never given up on yourself nor them, they're eternally grateful. They do see the struggle. They do know the hardships. They have been beside you, holding you through it, even if you can't feel them, see them, hear them, touch them, any of it. They're still there all the time. They never left and never would. Finally, we have the card 33 with wholeness, black mulberry. And oh, look, we've got Aquarius energy again. I love that. Wholeness and the water. There's a wholeness of your emotionality. They want you to know that when you step into your truth, that's when your life comes into this state of wholeness, where you align to all the goodness and abundance that is yours. It's okay to let yourself have fun in life. There's always going to be a heaviness. There's always going to be a heartache. There's always going to be grief. The second that you start experiencing grief in life, it becomes a permanent bedfellow. So it's always going to be there, but it doesn't mean that bliss does not exist alongside it. It doesn't mean that joyfulness doesn't exist alongside it. It doesn't mean that you aren't meant to live this life to the fullest. It can be hard at times to really fully engage in life when we don't want to, or when somebody that we love isn't capable of it. Whether it's because they are in the throes of a dark night, or whether they have passed from this life into the next, and therefore we don't know how to exist without them. Recognizing that those emotions matter, as well as our own wholeness, which means that there is the opposite emotion. There is joy for sadness. There is life for death. All of that. That's how you live in a true way, in an authentic way, in your own integrity. And your guides want you to know that they're acknowledging that you've been doing that. You've been tending those fields exactly, so that you can reap the benefit and the rewards that came from a state of lack, given love, given time and attention, focus and intention. You did this for yourself, and you have all the support in the world moving forward through this next season of your life. Pile 1, this has been amazing. I am so proud of you. Your guides are so proud of you, and I am so grateful that you are here. So I want to take this time to say thank you. Thank you to you. Thank you to your guides, to my guides, to the Great Spirit for bringing us all together. And thank you for allowing me to be a vessel for the messages for Pile 1. May these messages reach their hearts, their souls, their minds. May it calm them, soothe them, wrap them with love and understanding. May it spread to all those it is meant for. Thank you. Pile 1, if this resonated and you guys would like to support my channel, I would love that. I would be ever so grateful. You can do that by liking, sharing, subscribing, commenting in the comment section below. Any and all interaction that my channel gets, any kind of traffic, helps it grow. And gosh, guys, I've been gone for a while. So it would be wonderful if you feel so inclined and so called to. It's not required, not expected, but definitely appreciated. Pile 1, I hope you have a beautiful harvest season. I love you all, and I will see you at my next reading. Bye. Hello, Pile 2. If you chose the second card, Country Fair, and the second rune of Harvest, this is your message about LAMMAS and its blessings and abundance in your life. So, the Country Fair card says on it, summon the strength to reach out and discover the unity of community around you. And the Harvest rune feels so incredibly appropriate because we are talking about LAMMAS and about the beginning of the harvest season. As I was getting set up for your reading, one of the first things that came through was custom combining. And I don't know if you know what that is. Some of you may be familiar, some of you may not. So I live in North Dakota, and custom combining is a common thing up here. My uncle and my cousin both are custom combiners, and I know that we have some that come up for some of my cousin's farms. So custom combining is a business, like a family-run business, in which you go and you combine during harvest season for other farmers. So my uncle and my cousin will go to, say, like Kansas or Iowa, or just like some of the other Midwestern states, and they will combine for various farmers instead of planting their own fields, tending to their own fields. Now, the reason why this came through has to do with our perception and our identification of community. Many years ago, almost 5 years ago now, I was a heavy drinker. I was an alcoholic. I am almost 5 years sober. During that time, I thought that I had some of the best friends of my life. I thought that I had just the greatest community ever. Track back even a decade ago, and I was surrounded by people that I thought that I resonated with. My idea of community was somebody who was going to support me no matter what. And that meant that if I was wrong, they had to support me anyway. And that's not how genuine, authentic community works. Sometimes our concept of community is falsely structured because it's something that we need at that time. This is about you reaching out. And it says, summon the strength to reach out and discover the unity of community around you. This is about you reaching out and connecting with a spiritual community, with a local community. It's about recognizing that your place in this world is part of being a community. There's a community of souls here in this world that is here for you. And as you move into harvest season, you move into tending the fields of what you have cultivated within yourself. And part of that has to do with opening yourself up to meeting a new community. And I can tell you, I know from personal experience how difficult it can be, especially when you have this experience of joining communities and feeling like the outsider. And that can be the case with custom combining. But it's important to remember that there is a quid pro quo or an equality between the two positions, between the farmer and the custom combiners, between the community and between you who are there to help, to lend your services, to work for somebody or something, or work for a purpose, but with honor, dignity, respect, given and received. It's not always an easy thing to do. And when we plant the seeds to bring ourselves into a community of like-minded individuals, one of the big important parts of it is weeding the garden from the weeds that grow. And the weeds that grow are those thoughts of how this community failed, or you came into this community and fell away from them. And what if you just aren't meant to be in a community? What if you're meant to be solo dolo in this life? And that's not necessarily the case. Some people, that is the case. I don't want to negate any situation, but with you, pile 2, that is not the case. And your guides are being very adamant about that. There is a community for you. And maybe it is a community in which you just come in during the harvest season. You come in and you help tend to the fields and you help pick up the slack where someone else is lacking, because you have the resources and you have the skills and you have the comprehension to do that. That's a noble thing. It's a noble cause. It's a noble action. And your guides want to acknowledge that. So each of the 4 tarot placements corresponds to a different aspect of this harvest season. This first one is about the fields that you have been tending over the past 6 months to a year. The second one is some guidance through this harvest season or moving into the harvest season. This third one is about what blessings you will be reaping in the harvest season. And then your guides wanted to give some gratitude and just a little additional advice with those extra oracle cards on the bottom. Now, the back of the deck indicates an intention that you have, a purpose that you have, what led you here, essentially. And on the back of the deck, we have the star, which is Aquarius energy. And right now, Pluto is the primary focus of Aquarius energy. Even though I am filming this during Leo season, it will come out during Leo season, which means that it's the shadow side of Leo is Aquarius, and the shadow side of Aquarius is Leo, because they are sister signs. They're the polarities of each other. So the star really talks about, in a lot of different ways, it talks about hope and enlightenment. It talks about wishes and dreams. And Aquarius is the ruler of the 11th house, is really it's the sign of community. But I always come back to the origin of the cupbearer, of the constellation, the mythology of it. Ganymede was a beautiful boy, very, very beautiful boy, and Zeus wanted him. And because Zeus wanted him, he decided he was going to take Ganymede and bring him to Mount Olympus, where he would be enslaved to serve both Zeus and the gods and goddesses of Mount Olympus. And at some point, Zeus had a crisis of conscience and decided to free Ganymede. And out of penance, I believe is out of penance, Zeus gave Ganymede the waters of life and a cup for it, so Ganymede could become immortal. But instead, Ganymede poured those waters of life out into the world as a caution, as a lesson, telling the tale of his confinement, his capture. But he didn't do that to vilify the gods. He did that so that everybody would understand his worth was equal to our worth. Our lives matter just as much as the gods and goddesses, just as much as the universe. As above, so below. Enlightenment comes from remembering that hope matters, from remembering that we come and we go in this life and in each other's lives, but we all make a difference in unique ways. That's what it means to find a new community, to recognize that it may be a fleeting time frame in which they are in your life, but they're in your life for a reason. And it's important. So let's take a look at the fields that you have been attending. We have the Two of Cups. This is soulmate energy. Now, there's a lot of conflict about soulmates, twin flames, karmics, all of these things. I don't like using some of the more mainstream definitions of them. When I think of soulmates, I think of somebody who has a soul contract with you, whether it plays itself out in a perceived good way or a perceived negative way, doesn't matter. This is about recognizing that you have come here in harmony with other souls, that there are soulmates out there for you. Each and every one of you that comes to this channel to watch these files, to watch these readings, to engage with this is a soulmate of mine. I am a soulmate of yours. So this isn't about some romanticized notion of this perfect person for you. The only perfect person for you is you. Everybody else that comes into your life, we decide whether they're perfect for us, and they decide whether they're perfect for us, and then we put in the work. And that is what this is speaking to me, is this recognition that two souls coming together will always work when both souls meet on an equal ground. When they meet in the middle and they toast and love one another and they recognize that everything is 100% and 100% in connection. It's not a 50-50. It's never 50-50. It's each person puts their all into it. Tending to the garden of connection. It can be hard to expand beyond that as well. But does that mean that we can't? Not necessarily. And that depends on each one of us. We decide. Now, I do want to mention that I am seeing 555 on my clock, and that just stood out to me quite profoundly. That's a angel number of change. Things are coming in for you. Things are changing for you. And you could get very comfortable in a one-on-one dynamic where the thought of expanding beyond that might not be that appealing. But at the same time, this is again asking you about summoning the strength within you to discover a community, to reach out and connect again. I've been away from my channel for a very long time. I haven't reached out and I haven't connected. I received emails, but I haven't responded. I receive a lot of your comments and I don't respond with a whole lot of engagement because I was in a phase of my life in which I wasn't ready to come back to community, in which the losses that I suffered that were so profoundly life-changing, soul-changing, really, they made it so that I had to pull in and I had to get to know myself. I had to find that I was my own soulmate. I was my own best friend. I was my own support system so that I could value the friends and the family and the support system that I have even more so, because I recognized that they are like the custom combiners to my harvest. And I imagine that I'm saying that because there's resonance in this energy. That's how I feel. So let's find out the guidance for harvest. We have the Two of Wands. So we have 2 and 2 here. The number 2, there's a lot of duality here, but this is a lot of, strangely enough, it's a lot of divine feminine energy that I'm picking up with you guys. It's a lot more about receiving. When we stand with this Two of Wands, we're looking towards the future. We're looking at this perception of what we wish our life will be. We're seeing the distance of what it is that we're planning on doing. We have different paths that we can take, and we have a choice to make. Oftentimes, the two energies are about choice. This is about receiving that insight, that guidance, that awareness of where you should be going. This harvest season is giving you a glimpse into the world in which you have been creating through getting to know your very own soul, through getting to know other souls on a one-on-one basis, but also by recognizing that once you feel comfortable and safe within your own skin, the community that is right for you will be able to come in. It's a little sing-songy, almost like saying an incantation, strangely enough. All right, let's find out what blessings you're going to be reaping. We have the Four of Cups. The card of ultimate sadness. The card of not being able to see the offering when it's offered, or refusing to see the offering when it's offered because of what has been lost. Now, we can ask, how in the world is this a blessing? Sometimes the blessings that we have in life are blessings in disguise. Sometimes the blessings in our life are an understanding of a time frame in which we were in nothing but a state of sadness, of loss. In this case, with the Four of Cups, it's about recognizing that when we're sad and we're alone and we're struggling, we're never actually alone. There is always someone there for us. Sometimes we can get so far ahead of ourselves that we don't see what exists right in front of us. 2 years ago, I hit the ground running. I was trying to do way too much all at once. 3 years ago, it was even worse. I was writing book after book after book. I was filming, I was connecting, I was networking, all of these things. And I was so burnt out. And I was neglecting my role as a mom and as a wife. And it took a toll, and it left wounds. It left markers of sadness, of loss, of destruction. As I was struggling through my spirituality and my awakening and my ascension and all of these things, I was not able to see that there was love just right around the corner offering itself to me. Sometimes the blessing is in recognizing what those times really mean to us. What was the purpose of them? It's also recognizing that sorrows and grief, they're part of this existence, they're part of this experience, and we can lament it or we can embrace it. And it depends on each one of us how we want to do that. But it doesn't mean that there isn't love being offered at all times, in all places. It just is asking us to open our eyes a little bit wider. So as you move through harvest and you might feel this sadness, you might feel as though you're still lost on your journey. You're still looking for this community that you belong to, or you're feeling that grief of the loss of the community that you once belonged to and now you no longer do. It's important to remember that it's okay to experience all of that. It doesn't mean that you will feel that sadness forever. So let's find out what guidance you have. The Nine of Pentacles. Exactly. Okay. Sometimes we lose to gain. And I know that's hard. It's the same concept of rejection is a form of protection. And redirection is a form of protection. Sometimes we lose in order to gain. So we lose things that we're emotionally attached to that don't serve our higher good, that don't help us to find our abundance in this world. And you know what, guys? No matter what anybody says, and that includes me, our perception of whether we should be thriving or striving in this life is based off of what our soul has decided we're going to experience. So my soul has decided that I want to thrive in life. And therefore, I have been focusing a lot on my pentacle energy. In this way, sometimes we lose certain things that we love in order to gain the stability of that independence, that autonomy, that authority, that sovereignty. Your guides want you to recognize what you have done, what you have been cultivating, what you have been tending to, the seeds that you planted and nurtured and nourished, and that future that you are now harvesting. That future that means all of the losses that you have gone through have brought you to an independent state, have brought you to this strength of character, this honor of self. And this is what you bring into your connections outside of yourself. This understanding of the balance between light and dark, between the higher realms and the lower realms, as you stand in the middle world, holding both ends, holding both sides, the balance between the two. Wow, guys. All right, so we have the card number 7, and it says passion with beetroot. Beetroots are really, really great for the body. And look, we have Leo energy. We mentioned that at the very beginning. You might have Leo, you might be an Aquarius rising or have a Leo rising, but I get more of an Aquarius rising. So Leo would be in your 7th house. But we have passion alongside the earth element. This is about grounding your passion, giving it roots, and recognizing the blessing that is you being passionate about certain things in your life, because that's what really does attract the right community to you, or bring you to the right community. Your energy brings it in. You are the flame of the candle. The community is the moth. When you dance the dance of that flame, you welcome in the community that you have been seeking or that has been seeking you. Maybe a little bit of both. Let's get your final piece. Oh my God, look. Exactly. I was just saying this. Striving. Eventually, the individual ego's drive to make things happen falls away, replaced with a relaxed, trusting openness to answers as they arrive. Thank you, Divine, for letting me move with the flow right here. You're not fighting for things. You're not striving for things anymore. You're not pushing and trying to force things. You're choosing to thrive in your life. You're recognizing your own independence and you're recognizing your own strength. And you have decided to move forward with that. And your guides want you to know that that is a noble thing. There may be a time where you come into a community and it's brief and it's fleeting. But that doesn't mean that you're doing anything wrong. It doesn't mean that it isn't the right community for you. It just means that you're growing, consistently growing. You're building this world that you have been envisioning and you're moving towards it. So let yourself feel all the feelings, because in the end, you relax and move into a state of trust because you know that your life is exactly what it's meant to be, where it's meant to be, when it's meant to be. Right here, right now. All right. Wow. Pile 2. That was amazing. I hope it resonated. I hope it helped. I want to take this time to say thank you so much. Thank you to your guides, to my guides, to the Great Spirit for bringing us all together here today. Thank you for the collective of Pile 2. May these messages reach who it is meant for, spanning through the collective to speak to their hearts and their souls during this harvest season. Thank you for bringing them here. Thank you. Pile 2, if this resonated and you would like to support my channel, I would be ever so grateful. You can do that by liking, sharing, or subscribing to my channel. You can also comment on the video. Any and every interaction really does help my channel grow, and I am deeply appreciative of it. It's not a requirement nor an expectation, but it is always, always something that I am incredibly grateful for. So, without further ado, I will leave you here and I will see you at my next reading. I love you all. Bye. Hello, Pile 3. If you chose the third card, the roosters and hens, as well as the 2 runes of wind and scythe, this is your message about your LAMMAS blessings and abundance. So the rooster and hens card says, a change of scenery is calling. Embrace the adventure that awaits. And here we have the Justice card, card number 11. And this represents what brought you here today. So with the Justice card, I'm getting a lot of Libra energy because it is the representation of Libra in the major arcana. And Libra season begins, it actually is initiated with the next Sabbat of Mabon, or the autumnal equinox. And the very first day of Libra season is just the same as the very first day of Aries season, which means that the amount of sun and the amount of moon time in the sky is exactly equal, 12 hours for both. We can seek this balance, this sort of equilibrium in our life of adventure and of calm, of chaos and creativity. We can seek all of these things and not really know what to do. But when the winds of change come in and we have ourselves tethered to the ground, there's this challenge that comes up. That's what this harvest season is initiating for you. It's a challenge, but it's not necessarily a negative thing. You know, we think about challenges in a lot of different ways. But a lot of the time when we're talking about a spiritual journey and we're talking about challenge, that challenge comes off like a struggle, something painful, something seemingly impossible. But in this case, the challenge is to believe that there is a balance to things. That for everything that exists, its opposite also exists. It's a challenge to believe in the law of polarities. And I was talking to one of my best friends about this just today, about this revelation that I had about how she and I were raised, the type of mothers that we had versus who we became as adults. She didn't become a mother, and I did become a mother, But we both have had these very contentious relationships with our mothers. And we seem to be very oppositional to the mothers that birthed us and raised us. And that was something that I told her, is that because there is the law of polarity, she exists and I exist. And pile 3, I get that same energy with you. You exist because there exists a polarity law within the universal laws. So that means that there is both light and dark, good and bad. There is masculine and feminine. So it's hard to allow yourself to embrace those winds of change, particularly when you grow up in a chaotic environment, in an environment in which being tethered to the ground was your safety, your only safety. You came here for a reason today. Maybe you're thinking too logically. Maybe you're thinking with too much rationality and not enough wonder, not enough curiosity. And this isn't a judgment. I want to be very clear. From me nor from your guides, there is no judgment being made here. It's a simple inquiry, really. Are you allowing the winds to blow, to take you on this grand adventure? Or are you holding on too tightly to the tethering, to the ground, to the place that you're at? Imagine if Amelia Earhart never got in her plane. Imagine if the hot air balloon was never invented. All these different ways that we have advanced travel throughout the world. It all came from pioneers who took that risk to cut the cord, to loose the tether, and to fly, to soar, to recognize that curiosity and adventure are the balance for the life of being grounded and thinking rationally. Sometimes we need to allow that wonder and that awe back into our lives. And adventure doesn't always mean going somewhere physically. I find myself on adventures all the time when I'm at home. If I pick up a book, a fiction novel that I absolutely love, I can be transported to the place, the time, the scenes and scenarios that are presented to me in the book. I travel and go on these grand adventures. In times where I don't let myself be untethered, I don't let that scythe cut through that which holds me down. Those are the times where I struggle to read, I struggle to connect, and I struggle to believe in magic in and of itself, just magic. There's times in our lives that challenge us in those ways, that ask us to push ourselves beyond the limits that we had set for ourselves. This is one of those times where you're being called to push yourself beyond some sort of limit. What that limit is, it depends on you. You're the one who knows. So let's get into the tarot messages here. The first placement is the fields that you have been tending. And for all the piles, I was picking up 6 months to a year. So this is something that you've been working on, whether it's in your life, externally, internally, it could be both. But your guides want to address this specific field that you have been tending. This is some guidance on harvesting that field. This is the blessings that you will be reaping. And then the last card is just gratitude from your guides. And these are just some additional guidance and advice or messages from your guides. So let's see what you have been tending for the past 6 months to a year. We have the Page of Wands. You've been tending the fields of curiosity. Curiosity, passion, wonder. tending to the fields that lead you to creativity. The page energies for me are all about curiosity. This is a curiosity of what you can do in your life. And now I'm getting images of something. So my husband and I celebrated our 7-year wedding anniversary not too long ago. It was in the middle of July. And we really wanted to just experience life. We've been going through a lot of death in our family. And because of that, I had this tendency to get really ingrained in this person that I loved is dead. I don't know how to continue to live my life. And I have to be like Bambi, learning how to walk all over again every single time. So we decided to get curious about what it felt like to live again. So we went skydiving. And I still sit in awe and wonder, thinking that we jumped out of an airplane at 13,000 feet in the air and we're soaring at 120 miles an hour to the ground before the parachute deployed. And then we were just floating like clouds, like wisps in the sky above the earth, seeing the beauty that stretches, seeing where the town ends and the fields began, and the greenery and the different colors of the fields, the yellow of the canola, the periwinkle of flax. Seeing the fields that are starting to shift from green to the gold of wheat. And it was like weighing nothing. It was like being a part of the sky, of the air, of the clouds. I never in a million years would have thought that I would be able to skydive. I really wouldn't, because I'm terrified of heights. But I did it. I faced that fear and I did it. What have you been getting curious about? What have you been asking yourself, can I do this? Is this something that I can live through or an experience? All these different weird questions that bring us this curiosity. We can think that, well, I've got to do this and I've got to be very logical, be very rational, or you could just get adventurous. And the fields that you've been tending are those that have been awakening within you, this curiosity of adventure. That's a beautiful thing. So let's find out what guidance they have for harvesting these fields. We have the 3 of Wands. Okay, so normally, first of all, I do want to say, I'm getting with all the Wands energy, there's a lot of fire energy here. Fire and air. That's a lot of masculine energy. This is about you really taking the lead, really doing things. But normally with the 3 of Wands, and someone's standing on a cliff, but they're looking out over the water, waiting for their ship to come. This one in particular, though, she is casting a spell and creating the ship herself. As you reap these fields, the guidance is to recognize that your adventure is only waiting on you to create it. I love how the fields that you've been tending, if you look closely to her wand, you can see the little wisps coming out and it grows into these beautiful spirals in the next one. There is a natural progression here. The curiosity, the wonder, and now it transforms and transmutes into this power that you have to create it. This harvest isn't about gathering together tools, but rather recognizing that you have all the tools, you've been growing the tools, and now it's time to use them to create this next adventure, whatever that adventure is for each one of you. For me, I hope that one of my next adventures is this an inspiration to write another book. It's been so many years since I have written a book, and I ache and yearn for it, but I haven't felt that spark of absolute assurance and inspiration of what it is that I'm meant to say. Not quite yet, but it will come. And then that is that energy. You lead the way. You set that example for the world. But in order to do that, you have to believe in yourself. So the question is, pile 3, do you believe in yourself? Do you believe in your ability to create the adventures and the wonder and the future that you desire? Perhaps your blessings will help with that. Your blessings are the 3 of Swords. So you have a journal here and a candy box with 3 swords in it. I know a lot of people look at this and they think of third-party situations, and we're talking about what blessings you're reaping. This isn't necessarily about going through another heartache, but it's about the recognition of what happens when we step outside of analyzing it so that we can grow from it. That's where the blessing exists. April 25th of this year, one of my best friends decided he was going to end his own life. That was a 3 of Swords moment, a Tower moment, just wrapped together. It was painful, and it still is every single day. Every day, my heart aches with his absence. Every day. And so when we're going through moments like this, it can be really hard to understand what benefit, what blessing could possibly come out of that. But if he hadn't done that, I would never have booked that skydiving session. I wouldn't have done that. I wouldn't have this amazing, incredible, life-changing experience. But because he had decided this world was not right for him anymore, I decided that I wanted to live more fully and not be so afraid of things anymore. We don't always recognize what our blessings are in the moment. And especially in the moments like the 3 of Swords, where it feels like we are getting it from every angle and everything hurts. Our hearts hurt, our minds hurt, our souls hurt. Sorrow and grief and loss and betrayal and sadness and all of these things that really tear us down and challenge our very nature, the very fabric of our being. We can't always tell what the benefit or what the blessing is, but there is always one, at least one. There always exists a blessing. Every day I wake up and I see myself being able to get out of bed as being a blessing. Breathing in and out, being alive, it's a blessing. A year ago, I didn't know that I was going to survive this life, that I was going to be here, right now. I thought it had come, my time to end this life, or to have this life ended. I thought it was here. And I still navigate through all of the different emotions and experiences from all of that every day. But I don't ask myself, why am I alive? Instead, I thank the universe, myself, my higher self, my soul, my heart, my body for being alive. Your blessing is the ability to take the pain, the anguish, the hardships, the challenges, and to transform them into adventure and wonder and awe and magic. And I know those times, they're so challenging and they're so painful, and it's incredibly difficult to see that there's something positive in it all. But there always is. Part of that grand design of polarity. There is just as much abundance as there is lack. So let's find out what your guides want to say. This is incredible. Your guides are giving gratitude through the World card. The World card that is represented by Saturn, or representative of Saturn, depending on how you look at it. And we've got the wind blowing through, taking her hat off. Freeing yourself, freeing your mind, freeing your soul, allowing yourself to really laugh and play and giggle and experience life. And your guides are so grateful that you recognize closed chapters only mean a new story has begun. It takes a strong heart and a strong soul to recognize the things that you have recognized, to move further and further into this life, to keep following that call of your heart and your soul when things have knocked you down, when life has knocked you down, when you've lost love, when you've been betrayed, when you've been forsaken, when you have betrayed yourself, when you've doubted and questioned, and then you get back up and you just keep going and you smile and you live. You see that there is always an ending and a beginning, and that is a rare thing in this world. It truly is. And pile 3, your guides genuinely want you to understand that they have so much gratitude for your continuance through this life, for you breathing in and out, because you inspire. You inspire the divine, you inspire the spirit realm, you inspire the people in your life and the people all around you, and you may not see it, you may not know it, but your guides are telling you that you do, because you continue to write new stories. Stimulation. Number 18. Oh my gosh, look, Aries energy. We were talking about that with Libra. We had Libra and Aries energy. Stimulation, that curiosity of the Page of Wands. What gets you going? And now this is chili peppers. And you know, I never used to like spicy foods, and recently I am craving them. It's like an adventure in and of itself. It's delicious and challenging. Your guides want you to stimulate yourself, mind, body, and soul. Stimulate your senses, but stimulate that creative part of you. Make it God's. It says, release the idea of my. As soon as you start to say the money, the relationship, the job, freedom arrives. When there is no grasping, the right actions get shown. Free me from the prison of my, dear Lord. I love that. There is this card in the Mystical Shaman Oracle, and it is the card of sacrifice. And it talks about giving something up as a sacrifice to the divine. But it doesn't mean sacrifice in the sense of it being removed from our life, but rather it's something that we surrender to the divine to make sacred. We sacrifice the ownership of something in order to create a sacredness, to sanctify it and empower it in our lives. So if you're looking for inspiration, you're not looking for your inspiration, you're looking for inspiration. You're not looking for your path, you're looking for the path. Because everything in that sense becomes possible. And it all belongs to you just as it belongs to the divine, because you belong to the divine just as much as you belong to yourself. Make the pain something that you give up in sacrificial willingness, in a sacrificial willingness. Give it up to the divine and allow that pain to become a sacred inspiration for your life, to live your life, to cut yourself free and float on the wind, to close one chapter and begin a new story all over again. That is what this harvest season is here for. So pile 3, I hope that this resonated. I hope this reaches you and helps you and provides confirmation for you. I want to take this time to say thank you for your guides, my guides, and the Great Spirit for bringing us all together. Thank you for the collective of pile 3. Thank you for their light. Thank you for their breath, their love, their beating hearts, and their resilience as life comes forth. Thank you. All right, pile 3, if this resonated and you would like to support my channel, I would be ever so grateful. You can do that by liking this video. You can share it, subscribe to my channel, comment on the video below. All of these different interactions really do help my channel grow, and I am forever grateful for any and every interaction we have. It is not required, nor is it expected, but it is always appreciated. So pile 3, I'm going to leave you here. I love you all, and I will see you at my next reading. Bye.